So, Braden, how have you been this last week?
I've been pretty good. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Well, it's always good to get into, what is this, the third week in March when the basketball games start coming in full force. I'm sure your bracket's been thoroughly busted like mine by now.
Yeah, I filled out 2 this year, and in both of them, which this is stupid, I don't know why I did this, but in both of them I had Virginia winning. So I have not looked at that since that happened, since they lost. I just gave up. But we were talking about this a little bit before the show, and we're recording this at the time where teams are just entering the Sweet 16, and we just want to come out as a podcast in full support of Loyola Chicago, as they are literally Gryffindor. There's a bunch of tweets going around and stuff on the interwebs calling their fans clearly students at Gryffindor. They have the same colors, and they wear the scarves and stuff that look similar to garb in the movies.
So I definitely agree with this, but I also want to caution you, if you're on the interwebs and you're seeing the word Gryffindor, you could be dangerously close to spoiler territory.
Well, I will tell you where I got this information. There's a website called For the Win, which is like a sports spinoff from USA Today.
Oh, okay.
And the article is literally called "People Are Convinced Loyola's Fans Are Secretly All in Gryffindor."
And so that's about as far as the actual Harry Potter references go.
Yeah, there's no plot references or anything like that. It's essentially a list of tweets from people who pointed this out during the last game.
Good.
It says, Slytherin is obviously rooting for Miami. That's who Loyola just beat.
Right.
So, yeah, that's fun. And as the tournament continues to play out, we'll kind of keep tabs on that team, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to forget about Trivia Tuesday. So for those of you that have been following us on Facebook, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. That is one of the ways that you can best show us that, hey, I'm listening, I'm participating, I'm here. Because sometimes we can feel like we're shouting into the void a little bit. And my wife has definitely been responding to a lot of those, which I appreciate. Though when it's just her that responds to my post, it is it's almost a little more sad than if no one had. So I do appreciate that, Rachel. Thank you. But we had an answer to Trivia Tuesday this week. Did we only have one answer? Yes, we did. But this person was correct. So the question is, what do you get when you add powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood? Braden, do you know the answer?
Not at all.
This question was asked by Snape to Harry in Chapter 8, The Potions Master. Do you remember?
I do remember that scene, but if you gave me 10 tries, I wouldn't be able to name what happens when you mix those two.
So Snape does give Harry the answer. Well, when he's listing off all of his answers to all of the many questions that he unfairly asked Harry. This is on page 138. He says, for your information, Potter, asphodel, and wormwood make a sleeping potion so powerful it is known as the Drought of Living Death. So congratulations to Grace McDillon, who got that one on her very first try.
Good job, Grace.
That is impressive and is a testament to your nerdiness, I think. I mean, even I could have come up with that one, but that's not just an, oh, duh, off the top of your head type answer. So that was really impressive.
Yeah, that's good.
So we are now on chapters 9 and 10, the Midnight Duel and Halloween. So before we kind of talk about some of the details coming out of these chapters, I did want to ask you what you thought about them in general, Braden. There doesn't seem, from my read through, to be a ton of plot really moving forward. There's no huge, oh, wow, we met this new character, or, this big thing happened. What did you think about it?
Yeah, maybe not in terms of moving forward, but I thought that these were 2 of the more exciting chapters I've read so far, honestly. I think we learn a little bit more about Harry and how his character's kind of, maybe it was hidden or it's changing now as he becomes a little bit more mischievous and curious, willing to bend the rules a little bit. And I think some of the suspicion is added that surrounds Snape. I thought that was interesting. So
that's an interesting juxtaposition you make there between not necessarily plot moving forward, but a lot seemed to happen in these chapters. So
yeah,
I think that's a cool way to put it, which is we see daily life. We get to know Hogwarts a little better. What is it like to go to this school? And there's a little bit of plot sprinkled in and out, but it's more getting to know the characters, some character progression. I think definitely, Harry, you had a couple cool insights into the maturation or the sort of delving into Harry's character that we get into in this chapter, which was, definitely neat.
Yeah, I felt like these two chapters did the most for me so far as picturing life at Hogwarts, like having that mental image without having seen the movies or anything. Just, Harry getting to become part of the Quidditch team, this troll moving through the corridors and that being a huge deal that almost destroys the Hogwarts as we know it, which I guess, is that a segment into my beef this week? Did I just do that for myself?
We'll get there when we get there. Let's go through the plot first. Yes, no beef. It's turkey. Braden's turkey this week.
Never.
No, never. I'm kind of a turkey burger. Like, I mean, of course I love, a good beef-based hamburger, but I like turkey burgers too.
I mean, I get the point of them, and it's not that I hate them, but I just feel like I'm not eating a burger in its purest form, the way it was intended for me to enjoy it.
Okay, Ron Swanson.
Thank you. That is, oh my gosh, we can end the podcast. I'm satisfied.
We're actually watching through Parks and Rec right now. So, is
this your first time?
No, this is probably my third.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. I watched it in college, and I'm kind of waiting for the right time where I've forgotten most of the plot lines and stuff to go back through it again. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned Quidditch already. That was kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about. Quidditch seems to be this just all-consuming obsession at Hogwarts. We're led to believe every conversation between kids, if there's downtime, they're just talking about flying, talking about Quidditch. What do you think? What did you think about that?
That was fun. I think it's cool that it even brings out we get to learn a little bit more about certain professors via the Quidditch obsession. Like Professor McGonagall, this is probably the first time we get to see that she actually does have a personality. And we'll get into this, but the scene where Harry and Malfoy sort of duke it out in the air, and we think that Harry's in trouble for flying, and we actually end up learning that his little display of being a natural on the broomstick leads to McGonagall's keen recruiting eye, I guess. And she's like kind of excited about it and introduces him to, is it the captain of the team? Oliver Wood, is that his name?
Yeah, that is his name. Yeah, he's the captain of the Gryffindor team. He's a fifth year. And yeah, I think that is really interesting how you go right to the professors. I also think that the students just really seem to, Harry's talking to kids from different houses and some of the stories they have. Can you think of anything in real life from maybe when we were kids that was sort of the equivalent of this is what all the kids are talking about at school or out on the playground?
I mean, March Madness comes to mind as far as like everyone being obsessed with brackets and which teams, like what I used to do in high school, we used to play for money, which was fun. But do you mean like being obsessed with actual things we were going to be involved in?
I guess it's more of just the zeitgeist. It's everyone seems to be talking about it, or there's rumors about it, people telling stories. Well, I did this and I did that. So I actually have one from when I was in, I guess, first and second grade. The only thing that anyone I knew on the playground talked about was Pokemon.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good example.
Yeah, you got to understand that when I was in first grade, this was 1997, 1998. So I guess the first year that I also picked up Harry Potter, and Pokemon had just come out. It was incredibly popular, and this was pre-internet, so you couldn't just go and look up what were all the little glitches that you can do. For anyone that's familiar with Pokemon, I mean, there were rumors flying around about some of the ways to get rare candies, or the rare candy glitch where you can multiply, you can get 99 of them and different things like that. And I specifically remember just throwing rumors back and forth at each other like, oh, well, did you know that if you beat the Elite Four 60 times without saving, then you get like a level 1000 Mew? And did I try to do that? Oh, yeah, I definitely did. I could only beat it like 10 times in a row before the battery died, though.
I got into that a little bit. I did have a Game Boy. That was the thing on the school bus, I remember.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could walk down the rows and kids are just hunched over their Game Boys. playing Pokemon, and I didn't really ever get into like having a bunch of the cards or anything, but
Yeah.
I did play on the Game Boy, and it kind of reminds me too, there was another like not as big but a small phase where like Yu-Gi-Oh was a thing, and kids would literally like have duels with their cards on the bus.
Yeah, I remember Yu-Gi-Oh.
I never did really get into that at all, but
No.
the Pokemon thing, that's a good example. That was like everybody, some kids were more obsessed than others, but like everyone knew what was going on and was at least somewhat interested.
Yeah, for my age range, you just hit the perfect sweet spot of this very large game. I mean, it's even for me as an adult who's played through it many times, it takes me 25 hours to beat a Pokemon game. And
why do you know that?
well, when I was in Spain, I played a lot of Pokemon on my laptop, and it's a pretty broad game, and unless you had maybe a walkthrough guide as a first grader, it can seem infinitely expansive with infinite possibilities. Anything could happen, and no glitch or secret Easter egg sounded too far-fetched. So it really just definitely captured all of our imaginations at the time.
Yeah.
But coming back to Harry Potter, that's kind of what I related it to, was Quidditch. Everyone's got their little Quidditch story, and some people's are more exciting than others, and some people were lying about it. And it just really is I think a sincere depiction of childhood.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I didn't really tie it back to my own personal childhood, but that's a good point. Like, I think the truest example of that would be something like a Pokemon or something like that.
Yeah, but the difference is that Pokemon, in terms of being a crazy, crazy phenomenon, faded out a little bit, whereas Quidditch just rolls on. I mean, it's been around for over 150 years at this point in the books. So, Next thing up on our agenda, Neville gets some mail. Did this Remember All at first strike you at all? Like,
I thought it was a clever name.
Sure.
I enjoyed that. I didn't realize it was going to be such a big deal. You know, that's the center of Harry and Malfoy's first like face-off.
Right.
So it did become an important part of the plot in this chapter. Should something have struck me about it more?
No. I always just find it interesting that it's a ball that lets you know that you forgot something, which, like, great. I mean, that's very broad, and it doesn't tell you what it is or where you left that thing or what you forgot to do. It's just, it seems like the point of it is to make Neville feel bad.
Yeah, I did wonder about that. Like, does the helpful aspect of that get canceled out by the helpless feeling that if you can't remember it immediately? Like, I was trying to imagine me having a remember all and like, okay, I am forgetting something, and what if I just can't think of it? Like, that has to be the worst feeling.
You'd almost have to use it just very intentionally, like with a packing list, and you just pick up the Remember All right after you pack, and you're sort of mentally connecting it to the list to make sure you got everything on it. Yeah. It's more to confirm that you didn't forget anything than to actually help you in the case that you did forget something, I guess.
That makes sense.
I also just very briefly found it a little interesting on page 144, where we get a paragraph of Hermione being nervous about flying. We've only ever seen Hermione be very confident. From the moment we met her, she was doing magic and making fun of other people's, not making fun of, but disparaging other people's lack of ability or lack of memorization. Even in potions class, she excelled. But here, Hermione's actually a little bit nervous.
Yeah, it says that flying's not something you can learn out of a book, which, if it was, Hermione would be, I would think, in Harry's position as far as being recruited to the Quidditch team, because I think she's got every book possible memorized pre-Hogwarts. So yeah, that was interesting to see a little bit more of the less robotic side of Hermione.
Yeah. Then we get to the actual flying lessons, where the Gryffindors, wouldn't you know it, are just matched up with the Slytherins outside. And what did you think of the format of the lessons themselves? The strategy was just throw some brooms out there and have the kids start talking to them, I guess.
Yeah, it was slightly comical. They're out there with Madame Hooch, which...
Yeah.
What a name. She's described as having short gray hair and yellow eyes like a hawk. So not exactly like a warm, welcoming character, maybe. Yeah, you literally just say up and hold out your hand. Is that right? Yeah, stick out your right hand over your broom and say up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see Harry so confident with this. Neville's nervous, Hermione's nervous, and Harry being sort of timid in previous chapters and really questioning of like, am I even supposed to be a wizard? Everybody else has, they've been taught from a young age that they were going to be a wizard or their parents were, and he doesn't know anything. And he just steps right into this and is really confident and does really well immediately.
Yeah, everything seems to be going great. And then, as I have in my notes, freaking Malfoy.
Yeah, so this was sort of the exciting point of the chapter is we finally see this rivalry that's sort of been brewing come to its first battle. And this was exciting, I think, just to see Harry take, I don't know how to describe it, I guess like his first real, like we've seen him pipe up a little bit and throw some verbal jabs back at Malfoy, but like this is the first time he's like, all right, I'll go up there and fight you if I have to get this Remember All. So, and that goes back to kind of what I said really early in the podcast about Harry's character maybe changing, or like you phrased it, the maturation of Harry. Like he has become a lot more fearless, and it seems like he's set, maybe not completely, but he's settling into some of these skills or natural abilities that he should have, being from the family that he's from.
Yeah, flying is definitely our first big example of Harry feeling like he's a natural at something. We've got there on the bottom of page 148, there's no description of Harry having to think about what he's doing or anything technical. It's just flying through the air, robes whipped out by wind. It's just a rush of joy. Like, these are very visceral words. There's nothing technical. It's just a thing that he's doing.
Yeah, that really contrasts with most everything else that he's experiencing at Hogwarts so far in previous chapters.
Yeah, this is not tap the brick 2 up and 3 over and say the exact spell.
Yeah, or knowing what, certain ingredients mixed together to make this spell. Like, Harry's completely bewildered by a lot of that stuff, and this is just like his thing. He's really good at this naturally, so doesn't have to think much.
Yeah, so then talk me through the actual encounter with Malfoy.
Yeah, so Neville, and I'm going to be honest, I'd be lying if I said I didn't laugh a little bit at this thing with Neville. So he's obviously super nervous and ends up falling off of his broomstick like 20 feet in the air and breaks his wrist.
Yep.
Not funny, but kind of funny. And drops his Remember All, and as Madam Hooch takes him off to the doctor or the school nurse, whatever it is, Malfoy decides he starts making fun of Neville and decides he's gonna take the Remember All, and this, like, for whatever reason, just really sets Harry off. I feel like Harry was looking for a reason to get in his face. Yeah.
I mean, the Remember All is kind of a MacGuffin, just like we said earlier. It's not like it's helpful or valuable particularly. It's just the reason for Harry to get defensive and for him to be able to throw down with Malfoy a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking for that, and so he capitalizes on it and jumps on his broom. I think Malfoy kind of taunts him and says, well, if you're so... Like, he says he's going to hide it up in the tree. And Harry's telling him, look, man, give it back. And he doesn't. And Malfoy flies up to the tree, and Harry's like, okay, I'll match you. So now Harry's up in the air. And this is all, keep in mind, I guess, that Madam Hooch makes it very clear, like, if she comes back and finds people have been flying around, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, were you nervous for Harry at any point in terms of repercussions or in terms of just him being bad at flying? I mean, we don't get a lot of time to dwell on it, but he jumps on that broom and you don't know he's going to be a natural.
Yeah, that's true. So I wasn't, I guess, as shocked that he was a natural. I was more like curious because what's it take for Harry to actually get in trouble at Hogwarts? Because obviously... not all, but most of the professors there are equally as enamored with him, in terms of fame as the rest of his classmates are. Mm-hmm. So the whole time I was kind of thinking, like, okay, what if Madam Hooch comes back? Like, are they really going to kick Harry Potter out?
So we're already to the point of Harry Potter exceptionalism?
A little bit, yeah. Like,
okay.
I don't know. I guess it's a different story if, like, Snape happens to walk by and sees him up there. Like,
true.
Maybe he just... slits his throat right there or something, but
the rest of the books are just about Ron being vengeful.
Becomes Ron's quest to kill Snape in revenge. But
Hagrid really does just drink himself into a stupor.
I didn't know how that was going to come into this podcast, if we were going to get a chance to talk about Hagrid's alcoholism, but
he's literally not mentioned in these 2 chapters.
Sure enough, though, there it is.
We got to hit it every episode, I think, for the next 4 years of recording.
I'm genuinely concerned about him. I want to know what's going on with Hagrid, maybe more than I do with Harry.
All in good time, Braden. Okay, yeah. So Professor McGonagall gets him. You already touched on this. You were never really nervous that Harry was going to be kicked out. Maybe like whipped. I mean, what do you think? Do you think at Hogwarts kids get physically beaten?
That's a good question. I mean, it's England, right? They probably do. It is
England.
Yeah, they probably do.
Wait, why? What does that have to do with England? So in your head, England is just very pro corporal punishment?
I feel like Hogwarts would be. That's the vibe I get from Hogwarts. Like, I don't even know why I'm saying that. That's
They're not going to cast a punishment spell on you. They're just going to punch you.
Yeah. The spell seems more likely, I guess. But to answer your question, no, I don't. I mean, yeah, when he decided, like, okay, I'm going to go up there and fly as well, it did sort of seem like a trap for Malfoy, which happens again later. But
classic Malfoy.
Yeah. So there was like the thought that crossed my mind, you know, are both of them going to get in trouble? Is Malfoy going to get down just in time to where Harry's the only one in the air?
Yeah, seems like the kind of thing that could happen.
Exactly. But the overarching feeling for me was like, can they really kick Harry Potter out? Like, maybe they dock him some points, maybe he gets sent back to the dorms for the day, but I mean, it's hard to see this story going anywhere with him getting kicked out of Hogwarts, unless like Harry got kicked out of Hogwarts and the story becomes how he sneaks back in.
He's just low-key attending classes when he's not supposed to be.
With the help of Hagrid.
He's hiding in Hagrid's coat, or he and Ron are like on each other's shoulders doing that thing.
Yeah.
It's like, don't mind me, I'm just keeping the grounds.
Yeah. Like, Harry's walking around outside of Hogwarts, like, months later, and he sees Hagrid walking out of a bar, and they, like, have this heart-to-heart, you know, what happened, and then Hagrid vows to get him back into Hogwarts somehow.
Good. I like
really going down a rabbit hole here. But
let's write that.
Yeah.
Fan fiction, but only accessible by patrons. Patrons only.
Not that we're plugging.
No, never. It's only organic mentions. So, far from being kicked out, Harry instead secures a spot on the Gryffindor Quidditch team.
Yes, his talent is caught by, surprisingly, Professor McGonagall.
Wait, let's take a step back. What talent? What did Harry do to show? I mean, yeah, he liked flying a broom, but was there anything specific?
So we learn Harry has good hands. He's got good hand-eye coordination.
Now, do you remember saying just a couple episodes ago about, I guess Harry doesn't have hand-eye coordination when he was trying to catch a letter flying out of the chimney?
Oh, good point. Yeah, so Harry has thrown that back in my face. He's actually a great athlete, apparently.
Yeah.
Malfoy decides Harry's skill and natural ability on the broom, I think, scares Malfoy a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have to think that as cocky and abrasive as Malfoy is towards Harry, there's got to be a little bit of fear as well of like, oh, wait, this is Harry Potter, right? I mean, like, that's how everyone else thinks, and I'm sure he's been told the stories growing up. Like, he's got to have an ounce of respect for Harry.
Sure.
At least I would think. So yeah. Seeing that Harry's up there in the air and like, okay, now I'm going against the Harry Potter, and apparently he's really good on a broomstick. So Malfoy's like, okay, well then catch it. And he like throws the thing in the air, and I forget how it's described by Harry, like in a spectacular display of skill on the broomstick, like catches it before it hits the ground.
Yeah, he basically just has to dive and catches it right in time for his feet to skip. No, he topples off of his broom. He rolls off his broom onto the grass. Yeah, so McGonagall's watching and gets to see the highlights, and immediately, as I said earlier, her keen recruiting eyes, like, I'm taking him to the captain. He's on the team. Yeah, so then we meet Oliver Wood, and we get to hear a little bit about what Quidditch is, but really he's just very excited to get Harry. What's Harry's position going to be on the Quidditch team? Harry's going to be a seeker, which we find is like kind of like I don't know how to equate it to an actual sports position. Do you?
Do you have a good parallel?
Not really. I mean, he's kind of the shortstop of the team, the guy with the best hands, who's going to be able to make the spectacular play a little bit. I mean, if you picture a shortstop, all the way in the hole, has to stretch out and then make the jumping throw, the Derek Jeter kind of across the diamond throw.
Yeah.
It's kind of the glamour position in the way that shortstop is. I mean, there's not a ton of parallels to be drawn.
Yeah. I'm thinking of graphics on TV before a Quidditch match. They show Harry right behind the team's logo, Yeah. That's what I envision. The Seekers always get the glory.
The key to the match is always like a glue guy or an X factor.
Yeah. Whereas I liken the Weasley brothers as the offensive linemen of the team. They don't really get much of the credit, but they're super important.
Yeah, absolutely. So is this just run of the mill? Oh yeah, well, Harry gets on the Quidditch team, no big deal.
No, that's a big deal because first years don't usually get picked for the team, right?
Yeah, I think Ron says, where are we? Oh, page 152. Harry tells Ron he's the youngest player on the Quidditch team in a century.
Yeah, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, there's even a rule that first years aren't allowed to have brooms, which comes up here in these next couple of pages. I am just really amused when Malfoy tries to get Harry in trouble with that. I guess that's the beginning of the next chapter, sorry. Malfoy is unhappy that Harry's still at school, but yeah, he gets special permission. Like you said, he's Harry Potter. What are they going to do, kick him out?
Exactly.
So we are heading into the trophy room, right? Harry meets up with Malfoy, and Malfoy's not going to take this line down that Harry beat him up on the brooms.
Yeah, I don't want to skip over. I really like the quote on 153 from Harry. Malfoy meets up with him after this all goes down and says, "Having a last meal, Potter? When are you getting the train back to the Muggles?" And this is a top notch. I really hope he says this in the movie. Does he say this in the movie? You're a lot braver now that you're back on the ground and you've got your little friends with you.
He doesn't.
Oh, okay. I don't really want to watch anymore.
No, you have to watch.
Yeah, I know.
You can get something up on the patrons only feed.
Good point.
So what's Malfoy's plan to get back at Harry for the shame that he's brought upon him and his family?
They're going to have a duel, a spell duel.
A spell duel.
Bring your wand.
and they need seconds?
Yeah, so apparently if you die in one of these, you get a guy to tag in for you. Ron is obviously Harry's second, and I think Malfoy does he pick Crabbe as his goon?
You say obviously, but I can think of several better seconds for Harry.
Really?
Let's start with Hermione and move on to Fred or George, someone that knows anything.
Good point.
What's Ron's advice for strategy?
Oh, if Harry asks, what if I wave my wand and nothing happens? Throw it away and punch him on the nose.
There you go. That's my second. Yeah, this is the guy I want on my team, in my corner.
Yeah. Well, at this point, they're not friends with Hermione, so maybe Harry's thinking man, I don't think I could stand her trying to coach me through the entire thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
As fair as it is, though, Ron should not be your second. Just in terms of basic strategy, basic logic, Ron's probably not the guy, but...
Yeah, we get a little more of that sassy Harry that we saw talking to Malfoy. They're talking to Hermione. Hermione does not want them to go to this duel. It's at midnight. It's just not a good idea, she says. She says, it's really very selfish of you. And Harry says, and it's really none of your business. So he's gone from humble little Harry, I don't know anything, scared, to just telling people off.
Yeah, it's interesting how Malfoy kind of brings that out of him. So I kind of wonder how that'll flush itself out later in the story, because it seems like Malfoy can bring out the best in Harry in terms of, our first example here is his natural ability on the broomstick, and it can also kind of bring out the worst in Harry, as Harry's basically if Malfoy has ticked him off, does not care about the rules, does not care about, whether there's danger or punishment for what he could be doing. It's all bets are off. He has to beat Malfoy.
Yeah, he's definitely going to go through with this whole duel situation. He's got to get down to the trophy room at midnight, but they don't make it there without picking up some stragglers.
So, again, it's not probably supposed to be funny, but Neville is just asleep in the tunnel.
Yeah, he couldn't remember the password to get back in.
So So he's just sleeping there. Like, who knows how long he's even been there.
I did find an inconsistency here. Harry says, "How's your arm?" Neville says, "Fine." Madame Pomfrey mended it in about a minute. So if we go back to the beginning of the chapter and do some real sleuthing here, what time did they have flying practice with the Gryffindors? Thursday. I want to say afternoon, right?
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking for that exact time. But...
It is on page 145 at 3:30 in the afternoon. Great. So at 3:30 in the afternoon, they go to flying lessons. And so we can reasonably say that Neville breaks his wrist at 4 o'clock?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable. And then so Neville says on the bottom of page 156 that Madame Pomfrey mended it in about a minute.
So we'll give him maybe 10 to 15 minutes to get to Madame Pomfrey.
Yeah, and then he's back to the house. He's back to the Gryffindor common room by about 4:30.
Okay.
So you're telling me that in the last 7 hours, Neville couldn't remember a password. No one let him in. He just laid there, and people stepped over him, like he's just an untouchable, right? And this is a caste system. Just refused to let Neville into the dormitory.
Yeah, or it's just like he's so unimportant in the eyes of the rest of the students, just like, yep, there's Neville. And you just kind of keep moving on with whatever you were doing.
But he's not scrambling like, oh, guys, just let me in. I got to get in with you.
He's probably so nervous to get in someone's way or offend them that he's just like, well, I guess I'll just lay here.
Do you remember the episode of Parks and Rec where Ben and Leslie are trying to get the police chief to endorse her?
Yeah.
And so Ben is very nervous around cops, and he lets 10 cops cut in front of him to the bathroom. Every time he tries to step in, a cop shows up. He's like, oh no, after you. And he's just being so respectful that he almost pees his pants.
That's exactly what probably happened here.
That's
Neville.
what Neville's doing. Figured it out. This isn't a niche podcast at all. You'll only understand it if you follow college basketball, played Pokemon as a kid, and also are extremely familiar with every episode of Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it's actually not about Harry Potter at all. So
we reeled in the nerds, and now they can't escape. They're subscribed. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yep, got him.
Got him. What happens with the duel? Oh, talk me through this duel. I'm using air quotes.
Well, Harry decides he's going. Ron's a second. They pick up Neville there just out of circumstance. And
Hermione, yeah.
Yes, Hermione gets... Which this was sort of annoying. The fat lady can just leave and just disappear, and then you're just kind of screwed if you were trying to get back in because you have to tell the password to her.
In fairness to her, it is after hours, so kids should not be trying to get back in.
Okay. But what if a professor needed to get in there for some reason? There was an emergency. That's
fair. I don't know what they would do. If McGonagall really wanted to get in, she would have to go find the fat lady.
Or maybe there's a spell that overrides the fat lady. I don't know.
I guess. Not that I am aware of, but maybe.
Yeah. So they're all traveling through the tunnel, and they get to the trophy room. I'm trying to find this so I can have all the events in the correct order. She might help me here.
We're on the 157. Basically, we pick up Neville. They walk to the trophy room, and they're just standing around waiting for Malfoy.
Yeah, so they're starting to think that, he's late. Ron says maybe he chickened out, and then they hear a noise in the next room.
And who is it?
And it's Filch with his cat / possibly wife, I think we established last episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Mrs. Norris. And they're sniffing around, and we kind of gather that they've probably been tipped off that Harry was supposed to be there. Well, not supposed to be there, but was going to be there by Malfoy. So now they're off in hiding mode.
Yeah, and when you're in hiding mode, dragging Hermione and Neville along with you isn't ideal.
You're screwed.
Why is that?
Because Neville will inevitably find a way to screw it up.
What happens? Neville suddenly let out a frightened squeak, broke into a run, tripped, grabbed Ron around the waist, and the pair of them toppled right into a suit of armor.
Is there no Hogwarts screening? Well, you have the family lines, you're probably going to be a wizard, but we'd like to run you through a few tests just to see if, we really do want to take you in. And I just don't think Neville would have made it through that.
He doesn't just trip and fall into a suit of armor. No. He has to tackle Ron into the suit of armor.
Which, like, how did that even happen?
I don't know. Like, yes, there's a bunch of suits of armor. Sure, the suits of armor everywhere. We're in Hogwarts. But you have to be, like, swinging him around. This has to be like a brawl situation where, like, Hermione's just hitting them with a roll of paper towel and Neville's swinging Ron all the way around as he, like, I don't know.
In my mind,
protests.
This is an incredibly, like, overdone fall from Neville. His just complete lack of any sort of balance or athleticism is, like, on full display.
Where he's tripping forward with hands doing windmills for 15 steps.
Yeah. It's, like, really drawn out and whoa. And then, like, just tackles Ron.
It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you caught that.
So they run. They managed to get out of that even. Okay, we put the Neville being a klutz thing behind us. They don't know where they are. They just know they're far away. And who do they run into next?
Okay, so I'm on 159. They've established that Malfoy has tricked them. It was a trap.
Yeah, in the immortal words of Admiral Akbar. Rip.
Yep. I'm sorry.
Moment of silence for Admiral Akbar.
I was going to say, can we take a proper moment of silence?
All right.
Okay, yeah, that was good. I feel better.
So they've established that it was a trap, and they run into none other than
Peeves.
Great.
Peeves sucks. And that's another, like, maybe sub beef for me this week. What is the point of Peeves? Did I already ask that in a previous episode? Why is he there?
I explained that Peeves is a poltergeist, which is like a ghost, except he can touch things. He can be more physical. He's just a stronger ghost, like like an evolved ghost, I guess.
And I am totally fine with that. You know, weird, unexplained, sure. But that doesn't give me, like, what is his purpose? Because he annoys everyone, right?
Yeah, he listens to the Bloody Baron. We decided that's the person he respects. Ghost. He's just a mischief maker.
Right, so in my mind, it's like, why can't Dumbledore, like, banish him or cast him out with some spell?
Well, you're assuming Dumbledore wants to do that. I mean, Dumbledore's idea of some start-of-term words were nitwit, blubber, oddment, and tweak. Let's not rule out that he's just amused by Peeves in, like, a sadistic old man way.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's fair. And am I correct, just as a side note here, in assuming that Dumbledore is, like, the top of the top as far as the pecking order here at Hogwarts?
Yeah, so he's the headmaster is his title.
Yeah. So he's the dean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so technically there's some, governmental oversight because it's education or whatever, but yeah, Dumbledore does what he wants.
Okay. That's not that important to what we're talking about right now, but
no.
So they run into Peeves, and Peeves kind of sounds the alarm in a just really annoying way. Literally starts yelling students out of bed down the charms corridor.
Yeah, but then Peeves doesn't suck on page 160.
That's a good point. He becomes a really good distraction for Filch, right?
Mm-hmm. You get the classic Peeves line, "Shan't say nothing if you don't say please," in his annoying sing-song voice.
So Filch obliges and says please, and he says nothing.
Told you I wouldn't say nothing. So that's pretty good. And you can just imagine Filch is just so mad. He's had these kids twice in his clutches. And if it wasn't for that meddling Peeves, he would have gotten away with it.
Yep.
And then things get real serious real quick.
Yeah, so they have sort of, en route of hiding and running from Filch, they've stumbled into the forbidden hallway, or the forbidden corridor on the third floor. And they learn why it's forbidden. They turn around and are staring a 3-headed massive dog in the eyes.
Yeah, so when we say massive, what are you picturing? Like a mastiff? Like a big dog?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for J.K. Rowling's exact description. They were looking straight into the eyes of a monstrous dog. A dog that filled the whole space between ceiling and floor. So a little bigger than a mastiff.
Yeah.
This thing is like an elephant.
Yeah, it's really, really big.
Yeah. And it has 3 pairs of rolling mad eyes, 3 noses, twitching and quivering in their direction, 3 drooling mouths, saliva hanging in slippery ropes from yellowish fangs. And it's just standing there, like it's not coming towards them, not attacking them. And we kind of learn here towards the end of the chapter that it is guarding. Hermione was observant enough to pick up that it's guarding like a trap door of some sort.
Yeah, we get to where's Ron on page 162. Ron's like, what are you talking about? You know, I wasn't looking at its feet. No, Harry, I wasn't looking at its feet. I was too busy with its heads. In the movie, Ron says, I don't know if you noticed, but there were 3 of them.
So, yeah, and Hermione's says that Hermione had given Harry something else to think about as he climbed back into bed. The dog was guarding something. Harry, interestingly enough, kind of surmises that the grubby little package from Vault 713 is probably down in there.
Do you agree?
I think it makes sense. I'll say that.
Why?
Well, the end of the chapter mentions, like, you know, Gringotts was the safest place in the world for something that you wanted to hide, except perhaps Hogwarts, was Hagrid's words.
He did say that, but was he sober?
Oh, that throws a wrench in the entire plot.
You can no longer trust anything Hagrid says.
No, he's a real wild card. Could have just been babbling on in some drunken stupor.
Harry or wizard or this is just all Harry just got brought there by accident. He was actually supposed to go pick up Dudley.
Yeah, and like the way we read his accent with weird like words missing syllables and or letters, like is that just because he's drunk?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. You figured it out.
Case closed on Hagrid.
Yeah.
And I hate doing this to him every episode because I really do like him. One of my favorite characters.
I love it.
But there's got to be some sort of AA group that Dumbledore can help him out with or something.
You'd think. Well, maybe he gets there. You don't know. Maybe Hagrid's got a redemptive character arc.
You're right. I don't know.
Okay, we're to Halloween, chapter 10. And did you see the picture when you first started reading this chapter of the...
So I realized right before we started recording today that I had not really looked at the picture at all. So as I was going back through the text before we decided to record, I was sitting there looking at this picture for a while. So it is the troll. He has very long, skinny arms, and he's holding what appears to be a wooden baseball bat club type thing.
Yeah, but it's like as tall as him.
Yeah, and he's got like 2 sewn together burlap sacks as shorts.
Yeah. With
a rope for a belt. His head is super tiny.
But he's wearing a shirt and a vest?
Yeah, he's no bum.
Yeah, he's wearing 2 burlap sacks sewn together as shorts. but he's got like a trendy little vest on.
Yeah, he's not completely hopeless.
No.
There's no mention of trolls not having any sort of fashion sense.
So we open Halloween Troll chapter with Malfoy being surprised that, I already kind of mentioned this, Malfoy sort of surprised that Harry and Ron managed to stay in school. He was sure that his little plan was going to work. Is Malfoy a great schemer?
It doesn't seem like he thinks through his schemes all the way to the end.
You can almost see his pampered upbringing here, which is, I'll just put together the most basic plan and then it'll work because you'll give it to me, right? I want it to work, so it will.
Right. He's probably never had to work for anything in his life.
There's probably vice president of nougat at his dad's candy factory. And for those who keep score at home, that's like the 4th Parks and Rec reference this episode. So,
if we get up to 5, we will give away a prize to a listener.
A candy bar. But you have to come to Warsaw. Come be my friend. So Malfoy, his terrible plan doesn't work. So that's kind of good. And then what happens? Harry gets some mail.
Yes, he is awarded with his new equipment for Quidditch, and it contains his brand new Nimbus 2000.
Yeah, so I have a lot of thoughts about this.
I'd love to hear him.
There's a letter. So he gets what's obviously a broomstick package. So a long, thin package carried by 6 large screech owls. And Professor McGonagall drops him a letter saying, definitely don't open it so no one will know you have a broomstick. instead of just getting it delivered to her and then handing it to him. Okay, so that makes sense. Then what happens.
But it's from McGonagall, right? And she can't be a fan of Slytherin, so maybe it was like on purpose. Like, hey, don't open it. But make sure Malfoy sees that you have it.
Yeah. Okay, so Ron is impressed by the Nimbus 2000, and Malfoy sees the package from Harry. That's a broomstick, he said. Throwing it back to Harry. Okay, great. And Ron, oh, it's a Nimbus 2000. Okay. And he says, you'll be in for it this time, Potter. First years aren't allowed them. So we get to farther down on 165, and Flitwick shows up, who is like a 1.5 feet tall, Professor Flitwick. Not arguing, I hope, boys. Potter's been sent a broomstick, Professor. Like, are you serious, Malfoy? Like that's your plan here, is to try to get Harry in trouble for getting a broomstick? Oh, look, Potter's got a broomstick.
Yeah, but like we said, that's probably how he grew up. Like, just whatever he wants, he gets it immediately and doesn't have to put a whole lot of thought or effort into, executing his plan to get someone else in trouble.
Yeah.
So he's super like overconfident. So
then right on that next paragraph, the quote from Flitwick, I have a lot of questions. Professor McGonagall told me all about the special circumstances, Potter. What model is it? Can we stop right there? What are these special circumstances? All about the special circumstances. What special circumstances?
He's the next Michael Jordan of Quidditch.
The special circumstances are that he's really good, and so we want him to play, and we're breaking the rule.
It's like not to continue mentioning college basketball, but we're not supposed to pay this recruit, but it's Harry Potter. So we're not, air quotes, going to pay him. But
I think of it as the thing where you can reclassify. So some of the best college basketball players, Marvin Bagley III, for instance, he should be a senior in high school, but he reclassified, which is just you tell your high school you want to graduate early. I don't know how it works. And then you get to play.
That's a way better example.
You're like, I want to do this, so let me do it. And because I'm really good. And they're like, okay, sounds great. Come to Duke. So I've never understood that. The specials, why is Harry allowed to break this rule? McGonagall is just really competitive, I guess, and she calls in some favors to Dumbledore or Madam Hooch or whoever runs the Quidditch situation here.
Maybe it's an issue of selling tickets for Gryffindor. They've had really poor attendance in past years at Quidditch matches. It's look, if we get Harry Potter, the freaking Harry Potter on the field at Seeker, it's going to be sold out every game.
I don't care if he's good or bad. Just get Harry Potter.
Literally, just put him out there.
Braden, I've been reading the Harry Potter books for 20 years and have never once in my life considered that they charged attendance to go to a Quidditch match, and now I can't stop thinking about it.
It's a total PR move. Gryffindor looks good, and all these Golden State Warriors fans would be Gryffindor fans if Harry Potter were on the team. Kevin Durant would go to Gryffindor if Harry Potter's now the Seeker.
They're going to sell a bunch of Potter jerseys.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't even seen him on the field yet, but everybody's going to be pumped.
So capitalism, we're monetizing the scar. I like it. Okay, great. So it's to sell jerseys.
Yeah, and Harry won't see any of the pay from that.
Special circumstances that Gryffindor needs more money.
Possibly.
Okay, I like it. Then Hermione butts in. Shocker. Top of 166. I have in the notes per usual.
Yeah.
So I suppose you think that's a reward for breaking the rules. We all know that kid. That's oh, cool. So you break the rules and you just get all the good stuff.
Yeah. As much as I want to like Hermione, because I know that and oddly enough, it happened at the end of this chapter, but you knew she was going to be a part of what I'm calling the squad at some point. Her, Ron, and Harry.
Duh Squad,
sorry.
Yeah. That's what they call it in the fandom, so.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So I've been trying to give Hermione the benefit of the doubt, and she makes it incredibly hard.
But is she wrong?
No, not at all. And that's what makes it worse, I think.
Hey, I thought you weren't speaking to us. Please don't stop. It's doing us so much good.
Yeah.
Just so mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Harry goes and practices Quidditch. Okay, so you finally got Quidditch explained to you. I want to know everything. What are your impressions of... Let's start with the Quidditch pitch. Harry goes out to this field. Pitch means field. And... Wait, does it say pitch on... in the book, I see the words Quidditch Field on 166.
Yeah, I think it's referred to as a field. It should be pitch.
It will be referred to as pitch virtually every other instance.
Okay. I would think so. There was a West Ham reference here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you were briefly into Premier League soccer.
Yeah, so I recognized that and appreciated it.
Good. Okay. I when I was a kid, I just thought they were making something up. I thought that was like a different sport or something being referenced. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah. I appreciated that.
So what do you think of the field?
So I'm reading back through here. There are 3 of these poles with like rings at the top, correct?
Yeah.
Which is comparable to what the Muggles blow bubbles through, I think was the description, except like 40 feet in the air or something like that.
50 feet high.
50 feet. And every time the quaffle goes through that hoop, you get 10 points.
Sure.
The quaffle is the biggest ball. Am I right? There's 4 different sized balls.
Yep. Well, there's 3 different size balls. There's just 2 bludgers.
Okay.
There's 4 balls in total, 3 different varieties.
Okay. So you have 7 players on each side. Mm-hmm. 3 of them are chasers.
Right.
The chasers throw the quaffle to each other and try to get it through one of the hoops to score a goal.
Yep.
So I'm thinking there's like some real 3-man weave action going on here.
Right.
From anyone who's ever been through a basketball practice ever.
Keep in mind this is happening on broomsticks, so you've got more dimensions. You can go do a vertical 3-man weave.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So that would be kind of fun to watch. So you've got the chasers. They are trying to score the quaffle. And they put it through the hoops. They get 10 points. And Harry kind of with a basketball reference here. That was cool.
Yep.
I didn't know if Harry would even know what basketball was.
Wood doesn't.
No, not at all. Ask Harry what is basketball. So they just move on from that. And there's a keeper for Gryffindor, which was self-explanatory, I think. He flies around and stops the chasers.
Yep, he's the goalie. 3 more players.
Obviously, Harry is the seeker, and there are 2 bludgers.
Yeah, what are bludgers?
So there are 2 black identical balls, and they are apparently alive.
Yeah.
And they sort of zigzag through the air, and they'll like come at you and break your jaw if you don't block them. So the bludgers are kind of like making sure, like they're defenders who are also in a way like team doctors, right? Like they're preventing injury out there, apparently.
Oh, the beaters, yes. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they're trying to injure the other team.
Oh, wait. So the bludgers are the actual balls.
The bludgers are the balls, and the people that hit the
beaters are they. Okay.
The guys with the bats. Those are the Weasleys.
Okay.
But he does confuse you by saying the Weasleys are like a pair of human bludgers themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we've got the snitch. What's the deal with the snitch?
The snitch is the little golden ball with the wings, and it's on the cover, and Harry's like in this dramatic catching motion. I'm looking at it right now.
But he's wearing jeans.
Yeah, he looks like a dweeb, I'll be honest.
He looks like a kid that's playing Harry Potter in the musical version of Harry Potter, a public middle school is putting on.
Yeah, like that kid's short and he has glasses. He can be Harry. Okay, so I'm trying to look for the description here.
The description.
I'm trying to look for the description of the golden snitch.
Okay, golden snitch, page 169. Yep, you got it.
This, said Wood, is the golden snitch, and it's the most important ball of the lot. It's very hard to catch because it's so fast, so also alive, and it's the seeker's job to catch it. You've got to weave in and out of the chasers, beaters, bludgers, and quaffle to get it before the other team seeker, because whichever seeker catches the snitch wins his team an extra 150 points. So they nearly always win. That's why seekers get fouled so much. So we learn there's fouls.
Oh, yeah.
How many fouls can you have? Can you foul out?
No, you cannot foul out.
Wow. How does that work? You could just murder each other the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, there's like penalties. You get like a penalty shot. Okay.
So the most hilarious aspect of Quidditch is that it can only end when the snitch is caught. Mm-hmm. So the record for length of a Quidditch match is 3 months. And they had to bring on substitutes so the players could get some sleep. So that's just that's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, baseball does that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Which I think they're working to maybe make some rule changes on that because it kind of got out of hand last season. But that's neither here nor there.
Worked pretty well at the 2016 World Series.
Yeah.
So have you wrapped your head around Quidditch? Do you get it? Can you picture a game of Quidditch?
Well, it's like there's different games going on at the same time.
Yeah, it really is.
So I'm not entirely sure how, like, as a fan, what do you watch?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to call out one of our listeners right now, Logan Hayes. I want you on. We're going to record a special episode where we just talk about Quidditch. It might just be you and me, honestly, not even Braden. And, well, maybe Braden. We'll figure it out. Logan Hayes, get at me, text me, comment on Facebook. We're recording a Quidditch episode. Logan and I have some thoughts.
So this is a conversation you two have had before.
Yes.
And you just want to record it again. You want to get it out there for the world.
We threw a couple tweets back and forth at each other a couple years ago.
Interesting.
So it's never been fully fleshed out.
Well, this is certainly the platform for that to happen.
So practice goes pretty well. Wood throws a bunch of golf balls around, it looks like.
Yeah, he's just throwing them in all different directions, and Harry's tracking them down with his incredible speed and hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, so Wood's pretty confident. This is going to be a good team.
Yeah, the Quidditch Cup, they'll have their name on it this year. And he wouldn't even be surprised if Harry turned out better than the great legendary Charlie Weasley.
Yeah.
And he could have even played for England if he hadn't gone off chasing dragons.
Yeah.
You hate to see that when a young Quidditch athlete, really just waste all that natural talent on dragon chasing.
Yeah. It's sad that happens so often.
Yeah. I want to know, did Hagrid play Quidditch in his day?
Hagrid's got like 4 brooms under him.
Yeah, and he's the keeper, right? Because he can block 2 poles at the same time.
Wow.
Like he just lays down.
So good. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's like I'm picturing the bludgers just like bouncing off of his head over and over again, doing nothing. Just pummeling him. And someone's like, Hagrid, aren't you going to hit those away? He's like, hit what? What do you, oh, huh. And he just like crushes them. Okay.
Yeah.
So Harry has done some Quidditch. That's good. We get into another classroom. We haven't been in class with Harry a lot. We've heard some snippets. We got an in-depth look at potions, and now we get to see charms.
Yeah, so I'm on 170.
Yes.
And it's Halloween morning. And Professor Flitwick is teaching them how to make objects fly.
Yep.
And he's got all the students' interest because earlier in the semester, he made Neville's toad fly. So naturally, as a 10 to 12-year-old, you would be pretty friggin' excited about this.
They're all just excited so they can bully Neville better, too.
Yeah. There's no way that this ends well for Neville.
So the incantation, can you pronounce it for me?
Wingardium Leviosa.
Why are you so good at pronouncing things? Braden, I want this to be a segment and you're just nailing everything on the first try.
I love it.
Okay, yes, it's Wingardium Leviosa. Ron was saying Leviosa, right? So this is a famous quote from the book. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. And so that's how Ron was messing it up. And who is here to correct him?
Everyone's favorite, Hermione. So she says she corrects him in his pronunciation, and she does it herself. Rolls up her sleeves, flicks her wand, says Wingardium Leviosa. And it works. The feather rises off the desk. So. And
then on the top of page 172, what's Ron's response?
It's no wonder no one can stand her. He's talking to Harry, and he calls her a nightmare. And yeah, first time I actually feel bad for Hermione, because she hears him, and she runs off crying.
So this hit you as mean as it actually was, because it sometimes doesn't hit me as being like super mean, but... I mean, yeah, these are a bunch of 11-year-olds, and a boy calls you a nightmare, and you're probably also already not super popular, and It just really hits her in the feels.
Yeah, and you got to think that, like, she's trying to win over friends with all her... Like, obviously, she's trying to get the professor's attention with all her book knowledge, but I think she also wants to impress her classmates. So you start to, like, oh, wait, that was super mean. I should feel bad for Hermione. She's just trying her hardest. And I'm with you, like, when I first read it, I didn't really, like, the meanness of that comment didn't hit me until it says that she ran off crying, and then I went back and read it, and it's like, oh yeah, as a little kid, that would kind of tear you up.
I mean, in Ron's defense, he, quote, looks a bit uncomfortable later, the next paragraph on, so, I mean, that's something.
Is it?
No. Hermione doesn't show up. She doesn't come to her classes. So things are real in Hermione Town if she's not going to class.
Yeah, she is maybe on the verge of depression here. She's like hiding in the girls' bathroom and wants to be left alone. So Harry and Ron kind of just try to move on.
They go to Halloween feast. There's thousands of bats,
Obviously. And Harry's just, helping himself to a good old baked potato when Professor Quirrell came sprinting into the hall, his turban askew and terror on his face. Everyone stared as he reached Professor Dumbledore's chair, slumped against the table, and gasped, "Troll in the dungeon, thought you ought to know."
And then he just faints.
Yeah, it's like, hey, update before I pass out, there's a troll here.
Yep. So Dumbledore has to get everyone's attention, and he sends them back to their houses.
Yep. So that's apparently the course of action if a troll gets into Hogwarts. Everybody go back to your dorm.
The troll protocol.
Yeah, like I assume that in their classrooms, like right next to the door, they have like fire hazard, plan, or if there's a shooter, and then like in case of trolls, or like right before earthquakes, like here's what you do if a troll gets in.
So my first year teaching, I was at the high school first period, and then I went to the middle school for the rest of the day. And we had a lockdown at one point when I was at the high school. I don't remember what happened. There was a sketchy van driving around or something. And they came over.
Only in Warsaw.
Yeah. They came over the announcements and said code, some color, code green. And the kids all look at me and I look at them, and they know that I don't know what code green means.
So you just started yelling troll.
Troll in the dungeon. I casually walk over to the corner where the the exact sign you were describing is. I'm like, oh, okay. So there's like some kind of lockdown. So we're just going to sit here. And all I'm thinking about is, am I going to make it to my next class at the middle school in time? Because I have to drive there, And I'm hoping that I'm not, like that I'm going to like not have to go to my third period class, I'm going to get locked in here the whole day.
I'm just sort of imagining this alarm goes off and all the kids are looking at you and you just stare blankly ahead and like slowly go to your knees and climb under your desk or crawl under your desk and just stay there.
I mean, I sent them, they sent to the back corner of the room and we turned the lights off. I mean, there's a bunch of windows, so it doesn't get that dark, but
yeah,
there's just a mutual understanding. They're like, you don't know what you're doing, do you? Like, so you're not wrong, guys.
So you don't remember what that actually ended up being? It wasn't actually a troll or anything?
No, it was like there was like a sketchy...
The van,
there was a potential threat.
You said that. There was a van. So obviously a code green. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was something like that.
Okay.
So that was funny. That's what that reminds me of. And... this is fine. We can go back to our dormitory. Lord knows the troll's not going to be able to figure out the password to get into the Gryffindor.
Yeah, so apparently trolls are super slow and super dumb, which is kind of like, this is what bothered me from this chapter.
Braden's beef.
Yeah, my beef is if this troll is so slow and so dumb.
And so defeatable by 11-year-olds.
Yes, and if Hogwarts is really full of magic and all these spells, then you can make things levitate and you can make things out of thin air or whatever it is. Why is everyone so terribly afraid of a troll? You're telling me that there's nothing they could do? Like, I say this jokingly, but obviously their magic isn't the end-all be-all of the magical realm, I guess. Like, they're not all powerful.
We will get into it. I mean, it's going to come up over and over again, and you'll get some answers to that end, but yeah, a troll poses a big threat. Suffice it to say that there's certain magical beasts, we call them beasts, I guess.
Would you call them fantastic beasts?
A troll? No.
Okay, because I don't want to like get too far off the path here, but I just saw, again, on the interwebs, maybe I shouldn't be out there, but there's a movie and it's Harry Potter related.
Yeah.
And it's called Fantastic Beasts. Right, yeah, that came out 2 Novembers ago. It's not coming out right now?
That's Fantastic Beasts 2. Well, the second one.
Oh.
There's a spin-off Harry Potter movie series.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
So there's some beasts like a troll that they sort of have thick skin to magic, if that makes sense. The magic doesn't penetrate them as well. Your typical stop in your tracks or, even killing spell or whatever you were going to use. Just it takes a lot more to get through the thick stupidity of the troll, I guess.
Okay.
So never fear, even if the adults don't, Harry and Ron have a troll protocol.
Yeah, so they're just going to lock it in a room.
What could go wrong?
Right. That seems like a logical plan.
But question, how is this even an option?
Snape.
Okay, give it to me. Lay this out for me.
It's friggin' Snape. I think he lets this troll in.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
Sure.
But it's like you read later on, and I don't know, I'm going to screw up the plot of this, but...
No, you're fine.
So Harry and Ron sort of come together in a weird way of learning about their own magical powers that they probably hadn't really practiced yet. Ron figures out how to say the spell correctly. They drop the club on this troll's head and save Hermione, who was apparently in this room already, that Harry and Ron decided they were going to lock the troll in because she thought she could take it on her own, because why wouldn't she? She knows every word of every textbook that's ever been written on spells and probably defeating trolls.
Wait, do you think that's what actually happened?
This is what she says.
That's what Hermione said.
Okay, good.
But
sorry. She lies for Harry, and I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself here.
You're fine. So the problem is that Hermione was in the bathroom, and then Ron and Harry accidentally locked the troll in the girls' bathroom.
Correct. She was...
And we're like, frick, that's the room Hermione's in.
I guess, do we have to say? Well, we probably should.
Yeah.
So they go back for her, and I guess getting back to what I was trying to figure out with Snape, like the key's already in this door.
Why? And you don't just leave the key in a girl's bathroom door. That's just begging for problems. Right.
And after Harry and Ron have defeated the troll, I have the pages written here in our notes.
173? No, yeah. So on 173, right before they defeat the troll, they see Snape crossing the corridor.
Yeah, and he's just sort of sneaking around and kind of disappears across the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And then, this all goes down where Harry and Ron work together to save Hermione, and, the Professor McGonagall runs in and everybody's concerned about Hermione, and Snape doesn't even say anything to her, doesn't even look at her. He just looks, he bends over the troll, kind of looking it over, and gives Harry like a piercing look. So it's almost like he brought the troll in maybe he knows that Harry would try to defeat it, which I don't know how he knows that much about Harry already. Maybe because he's his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yeah, I bet if I let a troll in, Harry's starting to get confident in himself. He's a little curious. Him and Ron think they're tough. They'll come after this thing, and they don't know what they're doing, so it'll kill Harry. And then, whatever the reason is for that, maybe him and Voldemort take over the world after that.
He can inherit all of Harry's gold. Next in line.
Yes.
So your theory is that, because I kind of asked, are we going to learn about the troll backstory? What do we think happened? You think Snape planted the troll, brings the troll in to distract and possibly kill Harry, but he's not successful. Harry does not get crushed. I found that to be a little odd. Ron, with unforeseen magical ability, successfully launches this troll club into the air, smacks the troll on the head. The troll falls down, but face forward. Harry's on the troll's back, doesn't get crushed. Not even his hands or his arms, you'd think maybe, would get crushed by the troll's neck. I
mean, Harry's so small.
He is small.
And this troll is presumably so big. So I'm sort of imagining Harry as he's just sort of the size of this troll's neck.
Yeah.
And he's
oh, his arms are just around, grabbing onto the sides of the neck?
Yeah, he can't wrap his arms all the way around this troll's neck. But maybe he can, because it said the troll's head is super small.
Counterpoint, what happens to the troll? What happens with Harry's wand?
He shoves it up the troll's nose.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of distracts him long enough for Ron to correctly pronunciate the spell to drop the club on his head.
Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to look at here was the point situation. Harry and Ron each get 5 points for killing a mountain troll, or defeating it, and Hermione loses 5 points for trying to defeat it.
Yeah, which is actually a lie. She's in a really weird move for Hermione. You kind of see that a cool side of Hermione. Like I said, she's into squad now.
So why does she do this? Why lie for Harry and Ron?
Well, they saved her life.
So she's eternally grateful.
I mean, yeah, she's about to get eaten by a troll.
All right, fair enough.
If you defeated a troll, if you dropped a club on a troll's head for me, I mean, I would probably lie for you.
Well, that manifests itself on the page 179. There are some things you can't share without ending up liking each other, and knocking out a 12-foot mountain troll is one of them.
I wish she would have also wrote right after that, everybody knows that.
And as we all know, knocking out a 12-foot mountain troll is one of them. That's pretty good. So, Braden's beef. The teacher should have just been able to handle this troll. It's not that hard. We got to learn about Quidditch, which was last week's beef, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago's beef was about Quidditch.
Yeah, I wasn't being very patient, and I wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah, well, you got some of that.
I've been satisfied.
So that'll be good. To that end, what do you think Harry's Quidditch career is going to look like? How does that play out? Is Harry going to be everything he's cracked up to be?
I think he will, but I think that Malfoy will also gain some skill and maybe become the Seeker for Slytherin. And there's going to be some sort of struggle, with Harry, like maybe he blows out a knee or something, or
has to rehab.
Yeah, has to make this triumphant comeback, or like gets hurt in the championship but plays through it.
Okay,
something like that.
No, that's good. I think that's all of the prediction prompts we wanted. Yeah, we're just going to kind of wrap up this episode. So we are going to put ourselves out there, guys. Let you guys know we did open up a Patreon page. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to engage even further with the Muggle's perspective. We've got perks. We already mentioned a couple of them on this episode. We'd love to do some patrons-only episodes, maybe about a deep dive into a specific topic or with guests coming on. We would love to shout out some of our patrons. We've shouted out Grace McDillan on this episode, and patron shout outs would be another cool perk you could get. We will write a bi-weekly newsletter, let you know what's going on with Muggle's perspective. You could even get a chance to appear on the show. So we would love for you guys to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Muggles perspective. There will be links in the show notes, links on Facebook. That would be a really great way for you guys to get involved. It would be a great way to be able to progress the show a little bit and potentially expand our, what's what I'm looking for, recording schedule. We'd love to be able to record every week. We just can't afford to do that right now for a variety of reasons. So if you love Muggle's Perspective, you support it, you want us to keep doing what we're doing, please consider becoming a patron. That would be awesome, and we would love it. Also, next episode is actually going to be a little bit late, so you're used to kind of hearing an episode every 2 weeks, but through a series of events, we're not going to be able to record anytime over the next 2 weeks. Next week, Jeremy is busy next weekend. I have spring break the first week in April, woot woot, and we're going to be recording on April 10th. Tuesday, April 10th is going to be our next recording date, which is kind of a long time away. So to that end, we'll be going over 3 chapters for that episode. You got that, Braden?
3. Got it.
3 chapters, 11, 12, and 13. So Hannah's going to put your bookmark before chapter 14.
She's on it.
She's classic Hannah, 2 steps ahead of us. So we're going to get through 3 chapters, 11, 12, and 13. That's going to set us up nicely we've got a single chapter coming up here later in the book, which will be really good. So it sort of works out, but we do apologize for the delay. If you were patrons, maybe we could be convinced to record a little sooner. No. I mean, yes, but no. So we will. That's kind of our update on timetable. Braden, do you have anything to add to those announcements?
I don't have anything to add. Just want to thank all of you guys for listening to another episode of A Muggle's Perspective. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show, as well as like us on Facebook. You guys can throw comments out there for suggestions for segments or just general thoughts or ideas about the show. Please follow us. We have an Instagram account at Muggles Perspective, minus the A. And next week, like Rogge said, I guess technically next month, we'll be covering chapters 11 through 13 of the Sorcerer's Stone. So we will see you then. I just want to thank Jeremy and Jeremy's wife. We have dual producers.
Jessica.
So big shout out to her. They, like I said last time, make this thing go.
Yeah. Just another little note about Facebook. I have been trying to get on every day, and we have a different hashtag, Meme Monday or Trivia Tuesday, and some different things. So thank you to everyone that's participated in that, and we would love for that to kind of expand a little more. And if you're wanting more Muggles Perspective in your life, definitely get involved there.
Thanks again, guys. We will see you next time.
See you next time.